I researched this. About 86% of staff members are using ChatGPT without telling their bosses now, right? It's already happening. So what we want to do is kind of remove the taboo of that and just kind of educate the public, educate business owners, and let them know it's okay to use AI. You just have to be AI prepared, right? If with the right set of education and a little bit of research, you can do it, right? You can implement it for everybody.
Welcome to the Las Vegas IT podcast, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to Jaime. This is the second time on the show, and we're super excited to have you back. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. Thanks for having me again. I'm excited.
Yes, and can you just in case our audience possibly didn't catch your last time you were on our podcast, can you just share with us a little bit of who you are?
Yeah. So my name is Jaime. I'm with Ace IT. I'm an IT consultant. I've been in the industry for 15 years now. So I have expertise in monitoring security, cybersecurity, and now AI, right? We're diving into AI. So we're excited about that as well.
Awesome, and AI has been a huge trending topic the last few months,
Hmm.
within the last 6 months.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's been an exciting topic that a lot of people are very excited about. But I would just love to kind of get to know, like, what sparked your interest in AI and its potential impact on IT management.
I think just having an impact in society in general, right? I mean, there's so much of the unknown that's happening, and I know there's a little bit of it, I guess, caution with this, but there's also this excitement with like the potential, right? We think about back in the industrial age, right? Like how that revolutionized the society and like the jobs we had. It's going to be similar thing here, where yes, I don't know that it necessarily would get rid of jobs, but it'll definitely create more. And so being in the tech space, I mean that's revolutionary for us, and I'm excited what's going to come from that.
Yes, there's a lot of great stuff and a lot of
Yeah.
things that people are currently thinking about. And I know you currently have an upcoming AI event. What makes this different from other tech gatherings that are out there?
What comes to mind immediately is this is not a one-off. Essentially, we've decided to make it into a series and a continued series of events. So as we go and present events, we pretty much do our research and present topics on technologies that are emerging, new features with existing tools as well, like ChatGPT, like Gamma. And so as we go, the event evolves as well, along with the industry as well. So that way we can actually inform the public, inform business owners, hey, this is a new and greatest and the latest and greatest. And from there, we just keep going essentially. So it's never the same. So I would say that's what distinguishes us. It's a series of events.
Got it. And a lot of us possibly have heard of ChatGPT, but
Mhm.
one, maybe someone's not heard of. You said Gamma. Exactly what is that?
Gamma is essentially like PowerPoint on steroids. So, like, you can give it a topic, you can say, "Hey, make me a presentation about, I don't know, fishing," and then it'll spit out like 16 slides here, and it'll do it very quickly, and it'll bullet point it for you. So it does the design. PowerPoint Copilot does do this if you pay for the extra feature, but if you go to Gamma, it can do it as well, and it seems a little more sophisticated and a little more well designed, in my opinion.
Got it. No, that's great to know because I know when you do go to ChatGPT, a lot of times what I found is that something looks kind of odd.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing,
Uh,
right? You got to choose the right technology for the right job.
that's true. And then when it comes to this event that you guys are currently hosting, how are you structuring the event to support collaboration between IT professionals and business leaders?
So we want to make sure that somebody comes away from this with some value, right? So what we're going to be talking about specifically in this event is how AI is changing the culture of business, right? Like what you can do to prepare for it and what you should be doing already. So basically, we say, hey, these are the new technologies. This is what you could potentially use. This is how you prepare for that. This is how it's going to be changing certain things. So we're more mindful of the businesses, not just in IT, just in general, how these things work. But because we are in IT, it's going to make it easier for us to disseminate that information to the public.
Got it. And what type of business should attend this event?
I mean, if you use I mean, independent contractors, if you have staff members that you're managing, or if you're just making phone calls all day, you're working for yourself and then you need to save some time, you need to know how to do that. it's a great event for us. I mean, I don't think it's limited to anybody. We last event we had doctors, we had contractors, we had construction, we had designers, we had marketing, we had the whole gamma really.
Got it. It's for pretty much anyone that is going to use AI, which is pretty much
Yeah, I don't think
anyone.
that's limited to anybody. I mean, at this point, even if like you're a solopreneur or you're like a staff of, 100 people, then you will definitely benefit from this.
Got it. Now that's very important to know. And then, in your view, what's the most underrated opportunities businesses are missing when it comes to AI?
Time savings and efficiency, like right off the bat. I mean, AI as it stands right now, it's like at its infancy. So right now it's just removing the menial tasks from us safely that it can do where it can just say, hey, capture these notes or write this out for me. For example, create a slide PowerPoint deck, right? And that's very time consuming if you know that you've done a PowerPoint before in the past, everybody has, and it could take anywhere from 3 to 5 hours, depending, right? And so with this, it'll do it in minutes. And so you really underestimate like how much time it actually saves you throughout the week, especially if you're doing it constantly, right? For example, with me and my workflow, I'm more in the sales side of things now. And I make phone calls to prospects where I have meetings and I tell them, hey, I'm going to record this, right? And they said, okay. So then I record it and then it creates a summary for me and it does the bullet points, it does the action items. But not only that, it tells me, hey, you might have missed this, right? And so it makes it to where like, okay, I'm going to learn from this, and from the next one, I'm going to implement that as well. So for me, it saves hours and hours, really.
Yeah. I've used it personally as well, and that's a great thing when it comes to hosting meetings. So I agree with you on that. And then, what are some small risk or low risk ways a company can start using AI today?
Well, it depends on your industry, right? For example, last time we had a doctor that was there, and I presented a tool called Plod, and that Plod is a recording device that pretty much summarizes notes for you. And what makes this different than Zoom AI, for example, or Copilot is that it's on the go. It can record your phone calls too, or you can put it in your pocket and record stuff. But the cool thing about it is the summary, when you tell it to summarize, you can tailor it to your industry. So for him, there was this format type that it was called SOAP, SOAP. And I had no idea what that was. I asked him live there and I said, what is this? And he's like, oh, and he spat out the name and he said, this is for this. He's like, I'm gonna definitely look into that. So he's a concierge doctor and he implemented this tool and then now it saves him so much note taking time. So little things like that, Chat GPT about 86 I researched this. About 86% of staff members are using ChatGPT without telling their bosses now, right? It's already happening. So what we want to do is kind of remove the taboo of that and just kind of educate the public, educate business owners and let them know it's okay to use AI. You just have to be AI prepared, right? If with the right set of education and a little bit of research, you can do it, right? You can implement it for everybody.
Right. And then when it comes to IT leaders, how they balance innovation with security concerns with deploying AI tools. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on that?
Ooh, that's a great question. So being in the IT space, right? It's all about compliance nowadays and security. And there's such a term as AI readiness, right? So for example, when we onboard a client and if they want to use Copilot, for example, we're a Microsoft 365 environment. So Copilot is the one we would use for them. We would tell them, hey, you need to be prepared. You need to be AI ready. What that means is pretty much got to lock down your files. You got to give the appropriate permissions to the right staff members or the right department. And you got to make sure that no sensitive information is shared out there or it's open to the public, right? Because what Copilot could potentially do, for example, is you can say, hey, give me a spreadsheet of everybody's salary, right? And if it's open and it can access it, it'll go and create you a spreadsheet of that, right? And now you have everybody's salaries, which is a violation of the company policy. But so you just have to be prepared, make sure that the documents are locked down properly or permissions are set properly. And that's a journey, right? And that's something that you would want to take with an IT consultant more than anything.
Understood. So I'm guessing that's something that you could possibly help a business with.
100%. 100%. That's like kind of where I'm at, right? That's my specialty. I mean, I'm going to have my partner talking about AI productivity and business, and then I'm going to dive more into the technical side of things.
Got it. Super important. And then how do you see AI supporting more personalized client experiences in a business?
Training. I mean, AI is like an intern, right? If you don't train it properly, it's gonna mess up. So there's such a thing as AI hallucinations, right? Where it's gonna make mistakes and just make something up, right? So what we want to do is if you have your personal tailored AI, then you want to train it to do certain things. I mean, just like you can, I don't know how much experience you have with ChatGPT, for example, but you can train it to interact with you, right? Especially if you tell it, hey, remember that et cetera, et cetera. It'll remember for you. Hey, please call me, remember that I have a dog named Nico, and it remembers. And so you just have to train it appropriately, and it takes a little bit of time. And there are companies that are like major enterprise out there that are actually creating their own chat agents, right? Their own AI agents, I should say. And you just train it to be like you. I have a colleague, for example, that what they do is they create agents for the companies and they call it a digital twin. And so what that does, it copies your image and the way you speak and your intonation and all these things. And then it can attend Zoom meetings for you. And it can make decisions based on your criteria and how you think. But that all requires training. So I would say if it's more of a personalized thing, it's just you just got to spend the time.
Got it. And so
Yep.
some of the ways that you're going to train is by telling ChatGPT or whatever system that you're currently using is to remember that particular thing.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll give you an example. Right when I interact with ChatGPT, like I told it, hey, I have another AI event coming up on the 30th. Please remember this. Also remember that I'm an IT consultant, and so when I ask it questions, I don't need to explain as much later because it'll spit out exactly relevant to my industry, whatever answer it needs. Right. So that's just an example of it.
And I like that example as well. I've
Yeah.
used it in the past as well.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to what advice do you have for IT managers trying to get buy-in from leadership on AI initiatives?
Well, it depends on like who you're talking to, right? If you're talking to a CFO, then they're just going to look at numbers and they're going to say, well, like how much does it cost? And what are the risks? And so, more than anything, just doing your own research, making sure that you have the right tool picked for your environment is what's going to make the difference. And also, if it's going to be cost effective, meaning you're not obviously you got to pay for the tool, whatever you're going to use at a business level, but is it going to save you time and money in the long run? Right. So, you got to create a big picture, right? A lot of the times, as IT, we kind of just look at the problem in front of us, right? Because we got to fix it. And so we kind of just focus in on that. But a good IT consultant can look further down the road, like 2, 3, 5 years ahead. And so that's kind of what you want to come in with a plan and say, lay it out like, if we implement this now, it'll cost us X amount of money. But in the long run, it could save us this. We don't have to hire as many staff members for X, Y, and Z. That's an example of it.
Understood. So come
Yeah.
in prepared.
Yeah. Come in prepared. Yeah. Yeah, that's a short answer.
And then are there any industries that you believe that are lagging behind in AI adoption but have the most to gain?
I think I'm not in every industry, but like one thing I have observed is with POS systems, for example. I attended a conference last year, not too long ago, where it was just POS system resellers. And so they were just starting to implement AI into their systems. And so, these are the little machines that take your card information, right? And so now they're implementing AI slowly, but they're getting there and they're actually implementing it to where it can spit out metrics and information and send it back to the owner of the shop if they want to in like a nice little dashboard. But they could use with a little more technology. I feel like just learning from them and seeing like who they sell to, right? Because they're a B2C, they're a business to customer facing. As an IT, usually you're just B2B, a business to business, and so seeing that okay, the customer is the one that will benefit the most out of this, but also the business as well, right? Where you can have all these metrics. Now you have data because data is king, right? When it comes to technology, data is king. So you say, hey, I'm not selling as much at this store than this location. Why is that? And then AI can put it in a nice little spreadsheet for you. It could also combine systems like with your surveillance and all this, so it can talk to each other, so you don't have to be constantly monitoring, switching back and forth as well.
Got it. That makes life a whole lot easier.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure. And then when it comes to like what role will ethical AI play in the future of IT infrastructure and decision making?
Hmm. That's the big question, right? That's the big question in AI, right? Like what is ethical, what is not ethical? And I think there's a argument for, well, the people that are coding it are the ones that dictate what's ethical and what's not ethical, right? So then you have that, but the way that AI works, especially for ChatGPT, it I'll give you an example. Okay, let me draw an analogy here. I don't know if they fixed this bug or not, but ChatGPT used to have this bug where you could tell it, "Hey, make me a design with a watch," right? Like with a watch, and then draw me a picture of a watch in it. And it always drew a picture, and the time was always 10:10, and couldn't figure out why, right? And then they figured, oh, it's pulling images from the internet, and most of the images from the internet say 1010 because that's the most visually appealing for an analog watch. So any like watch design that it makes, it'll make it with a 1010. So AI can only reference that which lives out there already, right? So while we can code it to be ethical and do certain things, it will also pull resources on its own from what's already out there, right? And if that's not properly monitored, locked down, it could go one way or the other. Let's just say that, right? That's just my opinion on it. And I think we're keeping a close eye on it, right? Not me personally, but the people that are actually designing these things, they keep a close eye because yeah, they know it's very powerful, and ethics is a big, big thing.
Got it. I mean, I didn't know that. I did
Yeah.
not know the whole watch thing, which is a pretty cool
Fun
concept.
fact too, when
Yeah.
ChatGPT first came out, it was so powerful they had to nerf it. We call that in the technology word nerfing means make it less powerful. So they had to nerf it because people were going and asking it, "Hey, how do you rob a bank and get away with it?" And it was actually giving them the answer. And so it had to be nerfed so that it wouldn't do that. So it would be like, "Oh, I can't answer that," right? But it had to be programmed to do that. But like, being a tool, it'll just be like, oh, let me just go find the answer to this and like give you the information, right? Because it doesn't know ethics. Now it has to learn these things.
Got it. That totally makes sense.
Hmm.
And then when it comes to your recommendations, how do you recommend businesses to measure the ROI of AI adoption?
I think, like I said, at first it's going to be like the minor tasks that it's going to be time saving. So just measure it by time saving, right? I mean, if you want numbers, measure it by like hourly rate, right? How long will it take me to do this, and how much do I pay myself or do I pay my staff member to do it? Versus how long it's going to take AI to do it, right? For example, taking notes as a salesperson in the industry, you could spend anywhere from 4 to 5 hours just taking notes, and the other half just taking phone calls and actually recording these things, right, as they go. Or you're not fully present because you're actually taking notes and while listening to the client as well. So that's just one example of it. Like just divided by your hourly rate. I mean, I'm good on numbers, right? I love math. I mean, math is my second language, and I have a background in civil engineering, so I speak math, and data doesn't lie, right? You can break it down Excel sheets and just put it like, okay, like it's gonna cost Shatoya, 6 hours to, do this project, right? And how much time is she gonna save if she implements the tools versus how much does it cost us a month, right? And I think you'll see the benefits that way. I mean, just starting with the basics is really like the way to go for me.
Understood.
Mhm.
No, and I do actually like that. And it's really true. As you said, data don't lie.
Yeah.
Uh, when it comes to how has the Las Vegas tech scene evolved recently when it comes to embracing AI?
I think as far as the tech scene goes in our industry, especially, everybody's embraced it from what I've gathered. I haven't had many people reject it. It's more so the people that are not understanding of what's happening, and like they can be very fear based, right? Our first our first event that we did with AI, where I was introducing ChatGPT and I was showing people how to prompt properly. At the end, we had a panel discussion, and I said, "Hey, raise of hands, how many people are afraid of this technology?" And there was about 50 people in the room, and I think maybe 6, 7 raised their hand, right? And so it was more on the consumer side that we saw that being a little rejected, but they showed up, right? And I think that's what it comes down to, just being educated on what these things can do for you. And yes, I mean, obviously being mindful of what the dangers of it is as well, right? Or what to be cautious about, let's just say. As it stands right now, I don't think it can be super dangerous. I think it's just very helpful at this stage. We'll see how it evolves, though.
That is true. We'll see how it evolves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm personally excited about everything that's coming up when it comes to AI. And I
Mm-hmm.
know in the past, as you said, just like, when the computers came out, it was something that people just didn't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah. And then when it comes to like, what excites you most about the future of AI and local government or public infrastructure?
Hmm. You know what would excite me more if they actually implemented it? I know that government deals with sensitive information, so they're slow to adopt, right? And it's like, we have a saying in technology, it's like government's allergic to tech, right? I mean, have you been to the public website lately for Las Vegas, like the sewer system, for example? It takes a while, right? Plus, you got to raise the money. And I think once they do adopt, it'll change the game for sure. And we'll see a lot better design, a lot more functionality. But I don't think they're there yet, right? I think we're still going to wait a little bit longer, which they should. I mean, obviously, innovators take a risk, and sometimes those risks don't pan out. But with government, you want to be safe because you're dealing with people's lives too.
I get it. Super important.
Hmm.
And then when it comes to the tools, what tools or you did mention a couple tools, but what tools or platforms would you recommend to businesses that are just starting the AI journey?
Ooh, ChatGPT, like I said, Gamma's another one. There's one called Napkin, right? Napkin does infographics. So if you're just starting out, like for example, with your business and you create some images, right? You can use Canva or you can use Napkin and it creates infographics with like brochures, nice and neat with little pictures and everything. It's quite cool. That was also presented in one of our last events. And so I didn't know about that one. My partner Ronan was the one that showed it. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. And people were taking pictures and taking notes because that's like really time saver. Another one, if you're into marketing, I would imagine HeyGen is a good one. HeyGen is like one where you record yourself and it like learns from you. And then it can create vlogs and little marketing video short clips of you. And then it'll do it for you without you doing it. You just tell it, hey, I want a marketing on, podcasting, right? Or marketing IT. And then it talks like it's you. So that's probably one that I'm going to be showcasing at the event as well. So, look out for that. And we hope to see you there as well.
Yes. I would love to be there this time.
Yes.
Yes. No, and I that does excite me. Like every time I get on this podcast, I learn something new. And those
Hmm.
tools that you've mentioned today, I've actually never heard of. So thank you about that, Jaime. Then when it comes to if you could predict one major shift in IT business strategies over the next 5 years, what would it be?
I think we as IT professionals are not going to be as hands on. I think we're going to shift into more of a compliance and consultancy type of industry where AI, yes, it's going to take care of a lot of little things, right? I mean, especially with the new generation, right? And Gen Z is entering the workforce now, and I'm a millennial myself. And so we still have a lot of clients that, are either Gen Xers or, I guess what's the other generation? I don't know. They call them boomers. I don't want to be disrespectful, but so we have a lot of people that are in charge of this, but now there's going to move over to Gen Xers and millennials, right? And now the Gen Z is entering the workforce, which are they're born with technology, right? A lot of them don't even know what a CD is. And so I think what it's going to do is we're going to be more consultant based. We're going to talk more about compliance. Like, hey, as your business grows, this in this industry, you need to follow these rules. These are the guidelines to do. And we're going to become more of auditors in that space and less more of like troubleshooting, fix your printer, because a lot of these tools are going to be either simplified or they're just going to do it themselves. That's my prediction on it.
No, and I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about, new people or the younger generation. I'm also the same. I'm sure at the same age range that you are.
Hmm.
But, as they come into the workforce, things do change, which is awesome. I mean, I would love to hear a little bit more about your event. If you could share with us the location, the dates, I would love to hear
Yes.
about that.
Yes. So it's called AI Powered by Humans. and we have a theme from Flintstones to Jetsons this time around. It's going to be located at the Uncommons in the Assembly. It's going to be on April 30th at 11:30 a.m. And so we're going to come, people are going to network, we're going to provide lunch for you, and then at the end we're going to have some questions. Plus you're going to learn a lot of cool stuff as well with AI. You can also find us at AI Powered by Humans on Instagram. And also if you find me on LinkedIn as well, Jaime Leon Jr., and we can connect that way as well.
And we'll be sure to put that in the link in the
Absolutely.
description. I mean, what's the cost of the event?
Right now, if you pre-register, it's only $10, right? As we get closer to the date, like a week ahead or a week to the event, it's going to raise up to $25, I believe. Yeah. So
More affordable.
yeah, super. I mean, the point is here is not necessarily to make money. It's more to inform the public and let them know that, hey, this is here now, whether we like it or not. It's what's happening, and so you might as well get educated, right? And it's good exposure for everybody and networking and just a great time, and like a reason to get out of work on the middle of the week as well, So
Very, very true. Yeah. And before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I appreciate you reaching out, and like I hope to see everybody there. Like I said, it's going to be a great time. The location is a great place, right central place, right off of the 215 on the southwest area, next to the Durango Casino. So come, have some fun, enjoy, have information, gathered, and gather with your peers as well, and spread the word.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Simon. Have a great day.
Thank you.